Hello all, Tony here. US stock markets have kicked off the week in the green as investors position themselves for a busy week ahead. Starting with the Federal Reserve, rates are expected to stay on hold on Thursday morning, with the real interest in Powell's press conference to provide traders with clues if stronger data and tariff risks mean a longer pause before future rate cuts. But the buzz around the Fed isn't just around Powell and rate cuts, it's also about Powell's replacement. BlackRock's Rick Rieder has surged as the favorite to be the next Fed chair after President Trump called him very impressive following a private meeting. Beyond the central bank, investors will closely scrutinize earnings reports from four tech giants: Tesla, Microsoft, Meta, and Apple. And these results will provide critical insights into the trajectory of the AI trade, which lost momentum in the final months of 2025. Let's take a look at the charts of the NASDAQ and S&P 500 to see how they stand in the lead up to this week's events. All right, so starting with the NASDAQ, this time last week, we were talking about this uptrend support coming from the November lows, and we spoke about what might happen if it broke below that trendline support. Well, the very next session, it did break below support, but there was absolutely no follow through, with this break lower being followed by 4 successive days of gains. Now, those gains have taken the NASDAQ 100 back to the underside of this broken trendline support. And this leaves us now watching for a couple of scenarios. The first is if the NASDAQ can get back above this uptrend support and then above these highs here around the 25,850 to 875 area, it would probably open the way for the NASDAQ to retest this high from late October and then to push up towards 27,000. Now, we often see trendline breaks see a retest of the broken uptrend and then it reverses lower. So if we were to see a reversal lower tonight and it then to break below this low we saw last week, then it could open the way towards, firstly, this short-term support coming in around 24,650-ish before a test of medium-term support coming in around 20,850-ish. That's also being reinforced by the 200-day moving average coming in around 23,500. So really, it's going to be all about whether the NASDAQ can regain this broken uptrend support or it rejects it in the sessions ahead. It's a similar state of affairs for the S&P 500. The only difference is the S&P, as we noted last week, has made a fresh record high in 2026, whereas the NASDAQ failed to do so, leaving that divergence between the key US indices. Now, once again, we can see that the gap lower there was followed by a pretty swift rebound, which has taken the S&P back up to test the underside of this broken uptrend support coming from the November lows. Now, we are again watching for one of two things. We either get back above this uptrend support, retest the record highs, and then push up towards 7,200. But we're also watching for some rejection from this uptrend support. And if we were to see that, then you would probably expect it to retest this low from last week. And then it opens up a test of short-term support coming in around 67.20 before medium-term support at 65.21. So in a nutshell, the NASDAQ and the S&P broke lower. There was no follow-through last week. They both have rebounded back towards uptrend, that former uptrend support, now resistance. And we're looking to see whether they turn away from this resistance or they break back above it and then continue higher. That's all for this update. Stay tuned for more ahead.